We got there in the end.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everyone.
I wasn't talking about your skills, Daz. I was talking about the fact that Middlesbrough won and Rye was going to be unbearable without Ted this morning.
Good morning, everybody. It's the North East Footy Breakfast. How are you doing, gents? We got Steve and Rye with us this morning. No Ted.
No Teddy boy.
No, but I think we'll manage.
I think we'll be all right.
Because
no sad Mackems in the house, that's for sure.
He has sent us a what the fact. So
I know. You know the answer. Can we get it out of you?
I don't think we should do it because it's just not the same without Ted. I think
it could be.
Yeah, it just doesn't have the same kind of feeling.
I agree. I was shocked when he offered it.
I can't believe he handed the reins over so quickly to you, Des.
To me as well. You know, it's like it's a shocker. All right, what we got coming up on the show today?
Well, it is Ted's show, but I will be running it in behalf of Ted. But we got to talk about that win last night, don't we, lads? Hey, Borough are back onto Champions League. We'll discuss Borough's amazing win over the Canaries. Will they overtake Sunderland? Hey, we're even points now. And Ted wants us to ask this question. Maybe we can put this out to the WhatsApp as well. Has Carrick been unfairly criticised by a percentage of the fans in recent weeks? So if you are a Borough fan and you are listening this morning, get on the WhatsApp and get in touch with us if you think Michael Carrick has been unfairly criticised or fairly criticised. Maybe you've been the one criticised. And get us and let us know your thoughts as we review that amazing game. We're going to look at the Champions League last night as well. We saw Man City playing. I don't know. We got What the Fact. The Daz edition is called. And this is the message I got from Ted. All right. Enjoyed today's show, mate, especially the audio clue on What the Fact. Laughing face, laughing face, laughing face, laughing face, laughing face, laughing face, laughing face. Yes, that's correct. 6 laughing faces. He says, I can't wait. I need you to hear it. So we might have to just play that audio, but it is a What the Fact, the Daz edition. He's also put in Paul Merson, who Ted hates, in brackets. Ted hates Paul Merson. Well, Paul, if you're listening, get in touch with us and let us know why you hate Ted. Predicts Liverpool will beat Man City if Salah plays. Is he that much of a game changer? And are we seeing the best title race ever as there's 3 teams involved? Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has come out and he says there's no magic wand to fix Man United. He speaks well he's in the process of defending Ten Hag. He said about Ten Hag, he said he speaks well. He managed United 2018 to 2021, is respected and also linked with the Sunderland job. Ole Gunnar down at the Mackems, can you believe it? Any club looking to appoint Brighton manager Roberto Di Zerbi in the summer will have to cough up more than 12 million in compensation. You think anyone's going to go for him? Is he a potential name for Newcastle United? We'll ask Stevie that one. Newcastle United. Now this one's a tricky one, ladies and gentlemen, because this is the brackets that Ted's put around this headline. Ted has put this story in to hear Rye pronounce his name. You watch this, I've been practicing it. Little as Ted, no, I did my homework. Newcastle plan to send 19-year-old Gambia winger Yankubu Minte. Nailed it! Out on loan for a second successive season. Minte, who the Magpies signed from Danish club Odense Bold Club. Nailed that as well. For 6 million last summer, has been at Dutch side Feyenoord this season. So we'll talk to Steve about that and a lot more on the North East Footy Breakfast show for your Thursday. My goodness me, what a day it is, Teddy boy. When the Borough win, the flowers smell nicer. You know what I mean? Your cologne's a bit stronger. You know, your coffee's a bit sweeter. You know what I mean? It's just such a lovely, lovely day, Dazzy boy and Steve, and I'm so excited to be here with you lads to talk all about that amazing win. But of course, first, we need to go around the 3 clubs and get some club headlines from what's happening around the 3 Northeast clubs this Thursday morning, the 7th of March.
Magpies and proud. Mags News.
Newcastle United Steve Nixon has the necessary paperwork to take the role of sporting director at St James's Park if the Magpies decide to promote the long-serving talent spotter. Nixon is deemed a candidate to replace Dan Ashworth, who will be leaving the club for Manchester United once he's completed a stint of gardening leave. Nixon has studied for an MSc Sports Directorship to make him eligible for the position and will hope he is in the box seat for the top job on Tyneside. The Premier League's Richard Masters was among those watching on as Newcastle United defeated Wolves 3-0 at St James's Park at the weekend, and that sent tongues wagging amongst the support on social media. He was in attendance as part of the Premier League chief executives regular visits to top flight clubs across the country. Masters usually goes along to a Premier League match most rounds and was previously photographed on one such occasion sitting alongside part owners Amanda Staveley and Mirdad Gudusi at St James's Park last season. Former Newcastle fullback DeAndre Yedlin has made a switch from Inter Miami to fellow MLS outfit Cincinnati, 2 years into a 4-year deal that he signed in 2022. Now 30, Yedlin becomes the second ex-Magpie to be transferred to an MLS club in recent days after Matty Longstaff joined Toronto. That's your Newcastle headlines on Thursday morning.
Smoggies and Proud Borough News.
Good morning, you beautiful Middlesbrough fans. What a win that was last night. Isn't it a nicer day outside? Michael Carrick was delighted to welcome back Johnny Howson back to the Middlesbrough team on Wednesday evening, with the skipper putting in a captain's display to help record a massive victory. Easing fears of being dragged into the relegation battle, Howson returned with a man-of-the-match display against his former side, Norwich City. Helped by the red card on to Borja Steins for his lash-out on Howson, Borough ran out 3-1 victors at the Riverside. Howson was ahead of schedule in making his return to the Borough starting lineup for this game, having missed the past 3 games with a knee injury suffered late in last month's defeat to Preston North End. Initially feared to be far worse after scans, Carrick was delighted to have the 35-year-old back quicker than expected. Carrick said post-match, he hasn't trained much, Johnny. He's only trained a couple of days, but it was good to have him back and obviously gives us different options along with Lewis and Dan in that midfield. We're trying to get Hayden back too, but it was good to have Johnny back. He's the captain. He leads this team from the front. It'll be a busy week coming up with a Saturday fixture straight away, so we'll assess who's fresh and ready, and we'll look forward to that now. If Howson was the man of the match in the victory over Norwich, he must have been closely followed by left-sided wing-back Lucas Engel, my boy! Though he started the game quite poorly in truth, the Dane recovered well and made most of the extra space that presented itself after Steins' dismissal. He played a crucial role in Borough's equaliser and then scored the third to give them the breathing space. Borough now head to QPR on the weekend in a short turnaround, looking to seriously cement their side in their time in the championship for next season and get away from that relegation. Oh, and we're equal with Sunderland. Woohoo! That's your morning headlines.
Mackems and Proud. Black Cats News.
Good morning, Sunderland fans. These are your Thursday headlines. Will Still has once again spoken on the record regarding interested clubs amid reports Sunderland are keen on the head coach. I told the directors here, yeah, there are clubs that call me, there are clubs that are interested in what I do because I'm never by myself. I find that flattering. I would think it would be stupid not to find that flattering. If people ask me, I'm not going to start lying to make the outside world feel that I'm stressed when I'm not. That's why I said it, especially with that humorous tone. More to come on that one. Elsewhere, Roy Keane has been tipped for a Sunderland return as odds are being slashed on a shock return to management to replace Michael Beale. Keane, who hasn't managed the team since 2011, is now listed at 2-1 to return as Sunderland boss, says the Manchester Evening News. As a former Sunderland manager, the Republic Island and Manchester United legend often comes up when there's talk of a managerial vacancy at the Stadium of Light. However, he remains a favourite among the fans, and of course the appointment will give the fan base a much needed boost. And finally, a dream come true is how Chris Rigg described breaking into the Sunderland starting 11 for the first time. It was back in January 2023, the 16-year-old became Sunderland AFC's youngest ever outfield player at 15 years and 203 days. Fast forward 424 days, and now the teenager's made his first League Cup start, his first Championship start, and grabbed his first competitive goal. This has been a dream come true for me. To see my name in the starting 11 was a surreal moment, Rigg told the club website. I don't tend to think about who I'm playing against too much because I aim to go out there and compete at the highest level and give everything for Sunderland. But it was a bit surreal. We're disappointed with the defeat and I believe we deserved a lot more from the game, but I really enjoyed playing at the Stadium of Light and, of course, in front of our supporters. There are your Sunderland headlines.
From Yarm to Yibby, Harrington to Horsley Hill, Swalwell to Silverlink. The North East Footy Breakfast with Roy, Steve and Ted.
Right across the North East, the Red, the Toon and the Cat.
Welcome back to the North East Footy Brekky Show. You're joined by Rye, all the way down in Australia, who is happy as ever. Steve, obviously, the Newcastle man, He is here with us this morning. And
resting my vocal cords all morning.
No, we value your opinion as well, Steve.
Oh, yeah, we did. Yeah, we tried to. We had some connection issues, and we were worried we're going to have without Steve. So we got Steve, thank goodness, and Daz obviously on the buttons again.
Dave's not here, but he's still managing to muck the system up.
Open Chrome.
Yeah.
We got to talk quickly, lads, before our first break. Obviously, there was some news that came in yesterday for Sunderland. Now, I know Ted's not here, but this is like the biggest spiel he's given us. So, and I want to get Steve's thoughts on this. Obviously, it does help or affect him. Incredible news for Sunderland and the North East as a whole. It's lights, camera, action as funding deals has paved the way for Sunderland's own Crown Works Studios. And it is a funding that will have a Crown Works Studios, their own movie studio, developed within the next 2 to 3 years. So which is massive for the North East. So Ted asks, and we'll start with you, Steve, do you have an idea that you'd love to turn into a movie which is North East related? Ted's idea was that he'd like to see a feature film of Mary Ann Cotton, the Sunderland serial killer, with Saran Jones taking the lead role. Now, obviously, this is right up your alley, Stevie boy. Any movies, Northeast based, that you would like to, produce or star in?
Well, I mean, I already did one. A New Breed of Criminal, which came out last year. We sold it to 8. It's on sale now in 8 countries. So it's, I've already achieved my dream in that respect.
Yes.
But this is great news for the Northeast. It gives an opportunity to a lot of very talented script writers, location managers, electricians, actors, of course. It gives a massive boost to the industry. I've worked with the guys who've had this dream. Fulwell 73. Obviously, the Sunderland connotations weren't lost on me when I went for my very first audition with these guys, probably about 8 or 9 years ago. And I walked into their offices in London, which were bedecked in red and white strips, scarves, parts of Roker Park, which they'd bought when the place closed. And I just remember walking up to the audition, into the room where the audition was taking place, and them looking up at us and going, "That's the way it is, you." What a welcome! Yeah. I'm pleased to say though they didn't let their football allegiances get in the way, and I got the part in the film The Governors, and it was a pleasure to work with the guys. It was what you've got to do when you're on a film set is it's very similar to a football dressing room. You've got to man manage egos. You've got to man manage expectations. You've got to manage the budget. You've just got to keep everybody happy, and the guys at Fulwell 73 did that, and that was one of their very first projects, and they've just gone from strength to strength. They've gone from that initial concept idea and release, and to making not only great films but wonderful documentaries. They've done some of the biggest documentaries you can think of. The Bros documentary, which was tongue in cheek with Matt and Luke, like a fly on the wall documentary of the band from the 80s, was superb. They did they've done so many. They've done sport documentaries. They've done real life documentaries. So the guys who've pushed this know what they're doing. They know the industry very well, and it didn't look as if it was going to come off. And we've heard lots of talk. I've seen a few other people come out and say that they were going to do one of these and make one of these in the Northeast. It's just great to see the lads from Fulwell 73 get it over the line, and it's massive for us. Do I have an ambition to do another film? Yeah, obviously I'll always have ambitions. I'm writing a play at the moment, which is I've done the film. I've wrote a film. I've produced it. I've starred in it. I've ticked that off the box. I'm not saying I'll not do another one. I would probably pick a different genre. It was quite a hard genre to do. True crimes. It's difficult to work on a true crime film. There's so many connotations, and you've got to tick all the legal boxes, etc. But I do like a challenge. So writing a play is completely different. Of course, it's a smaller audience, but if you write a play which is something that people can get into and enjoy, nationally or even globally, that's got to be the next achievement for me. I don't want to do something local. I've seen so many players over the last 15, 20 years where it's all about being from this town and this is what it means to be here. And I'm all for accentuating the positives about the North East, but at the same time, they don't travel well. With the exception of maybe the Pitman Painters who they went across to New York, which was fantastic. They don't travel well either if you're going to regionalise something. So the play I'm writing, which I won't give anything away about, is something completely different. So I've had a couple of meetings about it. I've chucked a few ideas around. I've been doing a creative writing course this year, which I felt I needed to do to try and give us a few different ideas as well. So yeah, a lot of different avenues to go down. But this studio will be massive. It'll probably be 2025, I think, before anything gets filmed there. They said, and then 2027 before the building's complete in Central. But it means that the big difference up here is that people have got an opportunity to come and film things on a lot cheaper, right? And that's a massive plus, you know.
Well, we had Rochelle Goldie on a couple of weeks back, didn't we? The star of Jackdaw. Jackdaw, that film set in Hartlepool. So maybe, I mean, that was a rousing success for a bit of a smaller film, obviously. I ended up watching that one as well, and that was fantastic. And obviously set in Hartlepool, maybe we'll see more of those sorts of films coming through as well, where they are maybe not about the North East, but just set in the region, and bringing sort of, when you have to bring a movie set to the region, that can create jobs, that can create opportunities and stuff like that. So it's all great stuff, and maybe we should get Rochelle Goldie back on and see what she has to think as well. But I want to know, Steve, before we go to the first ad break, is there a spot in this play that you're writing for Daz and I?
Yeah,
are you writing us into the play? Are you going to give us a starring role?
Players don't have the budget to fly people from Australia, I'm afraid. But the good news from your perspective is, Daz, it's a local play, so I'd certainly invite you for a casting for it, mate, if you want to come and cast for it.
Oh, Daz!
It's been a while since I've treaded the boards and done a little bit, but I may take you up on that offer there, Stevie.
Daz. You are famous. You are famous, Daz.
Well, they talk about me, Mr. Showbiz. I did obviously my interview with Steve, and wait till that comes out. Oh my word!
I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah,
I am looking forward to that.
Yeah, it's.
We had a fantastic chat yesterday, and I
I
really loved it as well. So we're looking forward to hearing all three.
Mate.
Yeah,
thank you, mate. Thank you.
It was very good, mate.
And thank you to all the positive messages we had as well about the chat with Rye. I'm chatting with all three of our North East Football breakfast presenters, Steve, Ted and Rye, and they'll all be coming out within the next week, and you can hear the real them.
It was.
Absolutely.
Something a bit different for sure.
It was
I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, really enjoyed it. Well, we're going to take our first break here on the North East Footy Brekky Show. We'll be back after this to talk about that Middlesbrough win while Steve rests his vocals. That and a lot more coming right up on the North East Footy Brekky Show.
From Wickham to Whitley Bay, Stonygate to Shields, Doggy to Darlow Backlane, Steve, Ted and Rye. The North East Footy Breakfast.
Right across the North East. The Red, the Toon and the Cat.
Welcome on back to the North East Footy Brekky Show this Thursday, the 7th of March. And I tell you what, if you're a Borough fan, you're up and about this morning. What a win that was last night. But before we get into that, we do need to wrap up this talk of the Crownworks Studios, a new production, a movie studio being based in Sunderland. We just heard from Steve, obviously, our resident actor here. But Daz, I believe you might have a certain idea. Hopefully there's a role for Rye.
Well, what I was thinking about is, with it being a North East film and obviously a North East company, but we've got to use what we've got around us. And I'm thinking about a story about three bitter rivals. Three football fanatics who absolutely love their area, love their teams, and love the people of their area.
Yes.
And they have to come together in unique circumstances to come together, to put aside all their angst, all their hatred, all their history that's gone, but they need to come together to form a pact to make something beautiful. Now, that's as far as I've got with the story. I mean, how does it sound?
Okay.
It'll
never work.
Yep.
No, right, it'll never work, right? Okay, I just thought I'd better check. Never work.
No. Nah, never work.
Right, okay.
I don't think it'll get no. There'll be no one wanting to hear about that one.
Okay.
I really think there'll be two of them that clash all the time.
Right.
Because there'll be two that are really good looking, really speak well. They talk over the top of each other. It'll just never work. It'll never work.
I think as well. I think if anybody, imagine if somebody suggested doing a radio breakfast show like that. I mean,
it's just ridiculous. Never work.
Never work. Never take off. Hey, and one of them will want Thursdays off. It'll never take off. You know what I mean?
Never happen, mate.
I just don't.
I mean, imagine wanting a Thursday off in the middle of a week. God.
I know.
Do you know
right?
what?
I know.
I feel like such a fool for suggesting it. I'm so sorry. I'll go back behind my buttons.
Absolutely fantastic. Right, it is that time of the morning where I get to sit down and talk about the Borough, and goodness me, what a win it was last night for the Borough. A much needed 3 points versus Norwich at home at the Riverside. Kicking off at 7:45 p.m. After which was pretty crazy. We'll talk about this as well. A little bit of a fire over at Southampton. At St. Mary's there was an industrial fire. And I believe, is St. Mary's in an industrial area, lads? You have to help me. I've never obviously been there. But I believe it's based around an industrial area.
Yes.
No?
Yeah. It is. Yeah, there was a
St. Mary's
huge fire. I mean, I don't think
massive.
it was hurt, thankfully, but it was.
Thank goodness.
Looked absolutely chaotic, and obviously they did the right thing calling the game off.
Yeah, they called the game off, as Steve just said, obviously, and it was postponed. It was against Preston, but a massive fire there, so that was pretty crazy under circumstances to see that game cancelled. But Middlesbrough went ahead, and my goodness me, the first 30 minutes, it was classic Borough, and I was about to go to work early. It was dismal, lads. We rocked up. It was a different formation from the Borough. We started off with what I want to say was more of a back five into maybe like a 2-1-2, I would say. Lewis O'Brien and Johnny Howson. The biggest surprise for me was seeing Johnny Howson come back, as you heard in my headlines. Johnny Howson had a very, very bad knee injury only a couple of weeks ago, and he was predicted to be out long term, potentially even around that international break, if not after it. And he was out there last night. Can you believe it? Johnny Howson, the 35-year-old, has strapped up, and he came out last night. And my goodness me, what an absolute breath of fresh air he was in that midfield. He led from the front. Middlesbrough went down to a sloppy goal in the first instance.
I think
Ashley
that's
Barnes
fair
scoring
to say.
From the ground. He had beaten a great through ball from their midfield into Ashley Barnes' path. He was brought down, nigh pushed by Matt Clark, you would say, and they were both men tumbling on top of each other. Ashley Barnes then fell to the ground, but managed to steal the ball around Senny Dieng, and you thought, oh God, here we go again. Here we go again. It was only a matter of 5 minutes later that we saw a tackle from Signs on Howson, which then showed right in front of the referee. Now I'm talking, the referee was about a metre away watching this unfold. You then saw Howson walking away as Signs looked to have kicked out at Howson, collecting him on the thigh. The referee walked straight over, issuing a straight red, and Signs was off. And Norwich were down to 10 men from the 35th minute of the game. It was then all Borough. Borough put the foot down, thank goodness, and we found our way to score 3 goals, taking the result home. Obviously, David Wagner absolutely irate, the Norwich boss, with that red card decision, saying that that's not the type of player that he is in Signs. He's not an angry person. If you look at the replay, you just see that he's rolled over because Johnny stepped on his ankle and it was forced to flick his foot out. But, it is a bit of lady luck, you could say, looking in back and look, Middlesbrough just needed it. Middlesbrough needed a bit of luck, whether it was the red card, whether it was a refereeing decision, which have got against us. Middlesbrough were able to take on 10 men. And sometimes that doesn't always work. Taking on 10 men, sometimes you can see the opposite happen, where the team seems to galvanise it and put on a very good show. But Middlesbrough were able to step up and make a vital 3 points theirs against Norwich. This was a fantastic win, Daz. I was very, very happy with the team's performance once we went down to 10 men. I was a bit irate up until that point. But the big thing for me was, even though you would say he started off slow and made a few wayward passes, the inclusion of Lucas Engel, that was what I asked for. In all the talks on the radio this week, all I've said is that I feel Lucas Engel needs more time to settle into that left back role. He's a player that is ours. He's a permanent signing. Get rid of these loan signings and get Lucas Engel back in. And my goodness, did he reward the faith shown by Carrick after what was a bit of a scary 25 to 30 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, I managed to get a ticket for the game last night, so I managed, after we did our Matchday Live show, I got myself along there. And the Matchday Live show was a really interesting one because, we've done quite a few of these, and you've been on quite a few of these, Rye, and we've had real up and down expectations, let's say, from the fans. We do it live from the Six Medals pub, which is just right next door at the Riverside, and Dave's down there. He's chatting to fans, home and away. And we're either really optimistic or really pessimistic. That's the way this season has been. It's been really up and down. And last night was a real mixed feeling. Even we spoke to some of the Norwich fans who themselves were quite pessimistic. Norwich not being great on the road. I think only won 4 away all season. So they were thinking, you're going to turn us over here. We'd heard from BBC Norwich podcast saying that... there we go. That's tickled me. So they said that Borough was sitting ducks, which I thought was a really interesting comment there on their podcast. And a lot of the Borough fans were the vast majority of them were saying, look, I would love to see us win, but I'll be happy with a draw. Bearing in mind the last couple of results that we had. So there was a real mixed feeling around during Matchday Live. So I got to the game, I was quite hopeful that we might get something, and then we saw that sort of half an hour of a very dominant side with Norwich. The goal, which was, I think I was there with my son, and we both looked at each other and went, how's that just happened? The goal, the guy manages to fall over, have time to get back up, and then still score. It just felt like this wasn't going to be our night. It was going to be another typical Borough situation. But then everything changed, didn't it? I thought Norwich looked great. I thought they came at us like we predicted that they would. But everything changed with that red card. And from where we were sitting, we were in the North Stand. He kicked out. And straight away we both went, that's a red. Now from where we were, I mean, a couple of 100 yards. It looked as though there was contact. Obviously, Johnny went down for the contact, but Wagner threw their manager threw a water bottle in frustration. It all kicked off, and obviously Borough fans were loving it, waving bye, and all that sort of stuff. But that very, very quickly changed the game, and Norwich fell apart. And it gave us a level of confidence that we haven't seen for a while. The ability,
and that was the boost, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. And can we play 10 men every week? If only. That's what people around us were starting to try. Can we do 10 men every week? I mean. It's amazing, isn't it, what a bit of confidence, and this is what we've talked about, isn't it? That bit of confidence. Same with Sunderland. The players look down. They look devoid of all confidence of creativity, and that's how we felt the Borough have been. But last night we saw, and whether it was the 10-man thing or whatever it was, we saw sort of a very clear change, and I think that the man that was driving that was Johnny Howson. I thought he was tremendous. I know that they took him off, probably as a precaution.
Not wrong.
But we talked yesterday. Was it yesterday? We talked about 7 captains. Wasn't
yes.
it?
Yep. Yeah, it was. Yep.
And the importance of a leader. Well, I think Johnny must have been listening, because he went out there last night. And just it felt as though he lifted everybody, he lifted the crowd, he lifted the players, and we saw a very, very different Borough. And very well taken goals. I think Engel, he nearly had another one of them with a crossover. We all go, he did again. So it was just after the couple of weeks that we've had, it was just so refreshing, and so I felt. Actually, just so pleased for the lads, pleased for them, that they'd come out, that all right, we'd had that bit of luck. But they felt like a different team, and brilliant for the fans as well. Obviously, brilliant for the people that were there. But I think I just felt for those players that well, good on you, to coin one of your phrases. Good on you. No, that was Irish.
That wasn't Australian.
No, sorry about that. I just think what that hopefully will do for the team. And that's what exactly. We've got to hope is give them a little bit of momentum now to kick on. I mean, QPR went and won last night. Oh, sorry, they drew West Brom. They got a late equaliser, didn't they? Which I think will
they did.
Will give them a boost. But we've got to go there feeling more confident, certainly, than we probably felt last night. With Norwich coming to town. So I was really pleased with the performance. Steve, would you have seen the red card? Have you managed to see that?
No, I've not seen any of the game, unfortunately. You've got us at a disadvantage this morning, but it was a great result. I mean, I saw the result when I got back in last night, and it was a big shock and a big surprise. I mean, we predicted defeats and draws, I think, yesterday, and it was one of those situations that you look at and just go, typical Borough. And I think I'd said yesterday about Newcastle, Sunderland and Middlesbrough have always been the bridesmaid, never the bride. We've not had trophy here for years, and from our perspective, we always end up shocking when we least expect it, and that's exactly what Middlesbrough did. They lived up the expectation of pulling off a shock result, and I mean, really, we shouldn't be talking about Middlesbrough beating Norwich as a shock result, but on current form, it is. It's the psychological boost that gives Michael Carrick's squad, and I think I mentioned yesterday morning that Carrick has to find it in the dressing room. He has to be able to regroup, get them into that kind of mentality, us against them, and he's got to be able to do something, and he's clearly found the recipe to do that yesterday. And credit to him, making the change, bringing a player back in from the cold, whether a player's isolated because of form or isolated because of injury, when he comes back in, it's obviously going to change the dimensions of the team, and that clearly happened yesterday. And it was a great result, and I mean, I think it just shows how tight the championship is. I mean, I saw somebody put it out on X yesterday. Must have been listening to the show. Crazy. Sunderland 10 points off the playoffs, 9 points off relegation. And Middlesbrough is the same now. You're in exactly the same position. You could go up, you could go down. Anything can happen in this roller coaster championship ride. We're only in the early stages of March. You've got the big months coming up, April and May, and a sudden spurt of good form or a sudden downward turn and bad form can dictate where you're going to finish this season. So it's not over. I think Carrick's message to the team now will be, right, that's the level that I want you to play at now. Go and do it again, and if he does that, you never know where you could end up. And you could find this this time next week where we're talking about Middlesbrough being above Sunderland. We couldn't have seen that. Couldn't have seen that a couple of weeks ago. But it's just crazy. The championship is. It is such a tight division, and anything can happen, lads. But yeah, great result for Borough, much needed, and interesting to see how they take it into the next game. That's what I'll be looking for.
Yep, completely agree.
Can you remember, Steve, the Beckham Simeone?
The kick. Yeah.
So there was a come together with Beckham and Simeone. Beckham goes down. He looks up at Simeone, kicks out with his back leg. Simeone goes down like he's been shot by a sniper in the crowd, and Beckham gets sent off. There was a lot of similarities with that last night, wasn't there?
It was.
It was a 50-50 challenge. Howson went in for the challenge 50, and I thought it was a good challenge actually. Howson won the ball.
I did. He did,
but left their player on the ground. He did do the same, but it wasn't sort of like a flick. It was more of a kick out at Howson. Like I said, from where we were, my first instinct was that's a red. You can't do that. You can't kick out like that in petulance. And the ref agreed. But you know, I think it's very clear that most of the Norwich backroom staff didn't, and he's actually come out and said after the game, was it a red card? I have my opinion, and I think everyone knows what that will be, but it doesn't matter. We may appeal. But it's because if someone gets hurt, we will be very short of players. Hopefully, if we do appeal, we will be successful. I don't know. I don't think you know. I saw a couple of angles from it. One or two angles, it looked very light. Others, it looked as though he definitely caught Johnny. So, but it was one of those. You know, a lot of people going, was it a red? Did you see the kick? I didn't see the kick. I saw the kick.
It was one of those, wasn't it? It was one of those ones where I think it was your classic sort of Borough fans saying it's a red, Norwich saying no. You know what I mean? And I think obviously we don't like the big thing for Norwich, and I was listening to a few podcasts and a few commentators on the watch along as well coming through saying that that's not the type of player that Signs is. He isn't an aggressive player, and we don't know that. Obviously, we don't watch Norwich week in, week out, but they would know. But it would be like, you know, if we saw Riley McGree or something like that kick out, you know, he's not the type of player that normally gets aggressive like that. You know, if it was a Sam Greenwood, it would be like, yeah, unfortunately, yep, that's true. But, you know, it's not the thing. And then Johnny Howson, talking to reporters after the game, he simply had to say he kicked out. I don't make the rules.
I've just seen it, lads. The wonder of technology. Sky Sports has just put it on, lads.
Exactly.
I mean, the camera angle, unfortunately, because it's not, you know, obviously wasn't a live game. We've just seen it there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I've just seen it, and yeah, I've just seen their manager going absolutely.
Mate, he went wild.
I mean, some great goals there from Borough. You know, I mean, yes. Norwich stood for Force's goal, stood like tins of milk. You know, and just let that ball get played in. But the other goal, the goal following that, was a wonderful takedown.
The chesting down by Latte Lath, controlling it. Yeah, amazing goal that.
Wonderful. Yeah, they've got
Matt Clark crossed that in as well.
It's a wonderful ball in, deep ball, and he just takes it on the. It's just, I'd love to see that close up, how he actually connected with it. But what a goal! So yeah, listen, great performance by Middlesbrough. Well done to the lads. Yeah, really good.
Yeah. Very hopeful that we can now continue this run of confidence, and maybe it is the spark that we needed to continue this run now. And obviously, Borough have been down on confidence, a team desperate to find some confidence. Maybe it was a red card that could turn our season back to where we need to be. Yeah,
and just before we have a break, I know we'll talk about later on in the show. We'll come back and have another little chat about this. But there is somebody I want to talk about, and that's Riley McGree. Because I thought he was really special last night, and we will talk more about that and come back with more North East Footy Brekky chat right after this.
Together across the North East.
The Toon, the Cat and the Red.
Are you listening? Are you really listening? Answer these questions out loud. What does SHOP spell? And what do you do at a green light? Stop? Or should you go on green? Katie?
I'd say stop. I mean, most people do. So while we are listening, we're not really listening. Jamila?
We do it all the time. In one ear and out the other. Life can just get too busy. Can't it, Mr. Fry?
It can indeed, but there are people out there desperate to be heard, and you can help by taking the time to listen, even if you're a prince.
Being able to talk about how you're feeling is essential for keeping mentally fit and healthy. So maybe now is the time for us to stop and to really listen.
Right now, you are one of 20 million people listening.
On more than 300 radio stations.
And each and every one of us has the power to make a difference to someone.
Just by taking a minute to stop.
And to listen. To really listen.
Hi, this is Jeff. I'm here every weekday morning with the North East Time Tunnel. 60 minutes of hits, all from 1 year. Test your knowledge, see if you can guess the year. If you like your music from the last 40 years, along with some interesting facts about the tracks, then this is just the show for you. We've got some great features, songs that should have been hits but weren't, second-hand songs, and all the national holidays celebrated around the world today. The Time Tunnel, 11 o'clock weekdays.
The North East Time Tunnel. From Yarm to Yibby, Harrington to Horsley Hill, Swalwell to Silverlink, the North East Footy Breakfast with Roy, Steve and Ted.
Right across the North East. The Red Platoon and the Cat.
Welcome on back to the North East Brekky show. We are talking as happy as ever, Daz and I. Steve, is a little bit sort of annoyed because we're just so happy, as Daz and Rye this morning with that amazing Borough win last night. Absolutely incredible. We saw an amazing turnaround, and we were just talking then off air, Daz and I, about how shocked we were when the Borough goals went in. I mean, on my watch along, I apologise if you were listening on the Red last night, you would have heard radio silence because it was literally like, hang on, surely something's gone wrong. There's a lino waiting. There's an offside ruling. There's something going wrong for Borough to have the ball in the back of the net, but it wasn't to be. And we managed to score 3 goals, 3 fantastic goals as well, to get us back into the winning table. Daz, last night I saw there was some great performances all over the pitch. Lucas Engel got my man of the match. Yeah. But you had a special eye on a certain Aussie.
Yeah, I did. I kept an eye on him really because he's had a funny old couple of weeks, couple of months, since he's come back. He didn't come straight back into the team, which I think shocked a lot of people. I think which frustrated a lot of people, probably including Riley himself.
Yes.
And I kept an eye on him, and he I think he's the best player at the club, and he tries so hard to influence the game, whether it be a pass or a run that he's making to make space. He's a very, very clever footballer, and I know that there was a lot of chat about Housen and Engel and other players that had, or Brian that had played well, and Clark. But not so much talk about Riley, and I thought he had a really good game. He was in and out of it at times, but when he was in it, he was creative. He had that flair that he does. He had a couple of, he was desperate for a goal. And there was a chance in the second half where he took it wide, and I thought he's going to score here again. And he stung the fingers of the keeper. But I was desperate for him to get a goal, and I was just really happy for him. Happy that he'd found a bit of form. His role in the team is I think is very, very clear. He's a really important player for the Borough. I was just really pleased for him. And it's not the Aussie connection. It's more, I think he is our best player in the club, and I think he's been treated a little bit harshly of late, and I think that's probably affected him. I think it's affected his confidence, being in and out of the team. But he's got to be the first name on the team sheet for me. And I was disappointed he didn't get a goal last night.
I was too. I think he deserved it as well. We were talking, we didn't get to cover it yesterday, but one of the topics we were going to discuss was rumours, and that was all linked to Riley McGree, because the rumours on social media was that there's been this big falling out with Michael Carrick, and he's been pushed to the side, and that he's not happy, and he wants a transfer request and that, but he's the first name on that sheet. And we saw last night as well, he even chose not to play Finn Azaz or Sam Greenwood to give Riley that more chance to be that central midfielder. He slotted in behind Marcus Force and Latte Lath there to be that central sort of only man that would create, and run that midfield. And he sat just in front of obviously Lewis O'Brien and Johnny Houston, and I think it worked really, really well. And obviously Riley is a fantastic player. He's got he's still only 26, 27. Like, he's still got just amazing amount of years of football left ahead of him. And I hope that it's at Borough. I'm realistic to think it might not be. But honestly, I think it was fantastic. But one thing I wanted to bring up with you lads just quickly was the substitution of Dan Barlaser. Now, Dan Barlaser has been having a bit of a rough time at Borough as of late, Steve. He hasn't been the best of form. He's been doing some wayward passes, some passes that have gone the opposition, and everyone's sort of put the blame on this one man. As you do, you kind of get a scapegoat when you're losing and not going, things aren't going your way. And Dan Barlaser was that man. Dan Barlaser was subbed on for Johnny Housen, who had a fantastic game on the 70th minute mark, to a rousing boos. Most of the Riverside booed Dan Barlaser as he came on. Steve, have you ever experienced a player at Newcastle United in their time when they were substituted on to a boo rather than an applause?
It's a tough one, that, I'm pretty sure it's happened, because during the Mike Ashley era, it's almost as like everything's been erased from your memory. It's a bit like Total Recall, the film with Arnold Schwarzenegger. 14 years of abject misery, completely erased from Newcastle United fans' minds. But I'm fairly sure it happened on a couple of occasions. I generally think it's not the player being booed coming on. It's usually the boos are usually aimed at the manager for making the decision. And it can be interpreted as a boo for the player coming on, but sometimes it's booing because a particular player is being coming off and the decision's being made. So, I mean, Barlasser sounds as if he's having a bit of a nightmare. Yeah. Just from doing this show since August last year. I've often been interested in knowing how the former Newcastle player's doing, and you've often said, well, he's not quite made it. He's not really been playing. He's not featured. But then when he has played, there's been a couple of occasions, a couple of games where it seems as if he's not let you down. But look, what I will say to Middlesbrough fans who are tuning in this morning, who are listening, to this debate, is that it's never one person's fault that when something goes wrong, and Michael Carrick would be the first to say it. It's a collective. If you make mistakes, it's collectively you make a mistake. If you do things well and win, you're winning collectively. It's a team game. It's not an individual game. It's not like tennis where you're one man or woman across the other side of a net hitting the ball back, and you make a mistake. It's down to you. It's a collective game, and booing a player is never gonna get the best out of that particular player. So anyone who boos somebody in a red shirt for Middlesbrough and says that they're a Middlesbrough fan needs to really have a good look at themselves in the mirror this morning. But like I say, for me personally, I don't always feel that it's booing the player. It's probably booing the manager for making the decision.
Yeah.
And what did you make of it?
Yeah. Well, in the stadium, I'm in North Stand. I think the boos pretty much came from the South Stand. There wasn't very much from around us at all. I think anything that did come was from the South Stand. And we've said this how many times. Fans have got every right to express their opinion about what's going on in the pitch. But I was really disappointed with that. And there was a guy behind us who made a comment about, if we brought him on, then that evens up the sides now. It'll be both playing with 10 men. And, and quite rightly, a few people went, Howie, the guy's just come on, give him a break. Everyone else has had a really tough couple of games. Give the guy a break. And I thought, good for you for saying that, because, here we are, after a couple of, really dreadful run that we've had, low on confidence, low on everything as a team, and I think the last thing that team needed last night, even though we were 2-1 up at the time, maybe 3 when he came on, the last thing that anybody needed was that. I just thought it was out of order. I respect any fan to express their opinion, if they want to boo, and we've had boos back at the Riverside recently, but what good? I think we talked about this on Matchday Live last night. What good does a boo do? It doesn't make the players play any better, does it?
No.
And all right, it sends a message to the manager, sends a message to the players, but that message doesn't correlate in better football just because you've booed.
No, exactly. No. And if anything, we're talking about a team that's been down on confidence.
Yeah.
How's that meant to do any confidence of, all world of good of Dan Barlasser? And to his credit, he came on and he did all right, I felt. Yep. He had 30 minutes and he ran around and he got his, he was controlling that midfield. He was taking in that Johnny Howson role. So it was disappointing to hear. And obviously, when you are losing and things aren't going your way, as fans they look to have a scapegoat. And unfortunately, that seems to have been Dan Barlasser. But Dan, as from us, mate, and from, I think, the more sensible group, you can realise that, we understand confidence can go both high and lows, but, to boo a certain player saying that, you're at fault of anything before they've even come on the pitch it's just not on. And I think that's a bit of a hang your heads in shame if you booed any one of the Middlesbrough players before they've even stepped onto that pitch. So anyway, one thing we will address, obviously, I'm sure, in the future, but we are out of time for the borough because we have to make time for a certain thing that Ted's thrown us into the water for. Stevie boy, we were trying to get out of it, but unfortunately I don't think we can. It's going to have to be the Daz special. It is What the Fact Daz edition.
What? Fact it's Ted. What the fact?
Daz edition.
Daz edition.
It's Daz edition. It's Daz edition. Dazzy.
Now, I am very honoured to be given this opportunity. You know, these things don't come along very often in life. So I'd like to thank Ted on my behalf for giving me this opportunity. And I was going to do the impression of Ted, to do it like,
yes.
Oh, how are you,
okay.
man? I'm going to do that one there. But I won't do that because that's insulting. So I won't do that. But we have got some clues. You know how What the Fact works. 4 clues across the show to make up a particular fact. And fact number 1, clue number 1, is make your mind up, lad. Make your mind up, lad.
Make your mind up, lad. Well, that gives me absolutely nothing. I got no idea.
Gives me nothing either. Got no idea.
So it's going well.
Make your mind up, lad.
So far.
Daz edition is off to a great start.
Yeah.
Wow. Make your mind up, lad. Could there be anything up in that? Make your mind up, lad. Mind, lad.
I wouldn't even try. We're going
to have to wait for the second clue on that one. We are going to have to wait for the second clue on that one. Well done, Ted. You stumped us again. Good on you. Even when you're not here. This blimmin' What the Fact is too hard, I tell you. Too hard. But yeah, we're looking forward to it. Daz, what do you think? Is it a tough one today?
They're all tough, aren't they? They're all. He says, trying to be diplomatic. Yeah, I mean, I can see how this clue works. I can see how it fits in there. I mean, when I first looked at the clues before I saw the answer, and my first thought was, is it something to do with Bucks Fizz? Make your mind up.
Okay. Interesting.
But
we're only 2 men today as well. Normally we have a third to help us, but you know it. So
yeah, I know that. And as
you know what I mean?
As Ted would say, you know, it's well, what would he say? Oh, Mister. Oh, no.
It's 4-5. I gotta win. This guy, I tell you.
Oh, we're in trouble. Well, I am. So there you go. Clue number 1 on What the Fact is: make your mind up, lad.
Well. Yeah. There you go. And if they want to get in touch with the WhatsApp, Dazzy boy,
it's very easy to do. It's 0330 043 2002. That's our WhatsApp number. You can drop us a WhatsApp message. You can even drop us a voice note as well. In the WhatsApp message box on the right-hand side, there's a little microphone. Click on that, hold it down, and you can record yourself a little message to us. Send it in with your ideas of What the Fact. Your clue number 1 is make your mind up, lad.
Help us out, Daniil. I know you're a listener, mate.
Make your mind up, lad.
We need your help, Daniil.
That was a bit of a clue. I mean, I'm not good with accents, but you know.
Okay. All right. That's a good one. All right, let's go on. We've got just a short moment between now and the news bulletin headlines for this Thursday morning. Lads, we've got Paul Merson. Paul Merson, who in brackets Ted hates, and he needed us to make that quite clear. So apologies, Paul, but you're not a fan from Teddy Boy. He predicts Liverpool will beat Man City if Salah plays. He said that he's that much of a game changer that he will help Liverpool win the title over Man City because he is just that good. Steve, Premier League, Ted asks, are we seeing the best title race ever? Because there's currently 3 teams that could potentially win it.
Well, it's certainly more exciting than usual, and the 3 teams are no surprise: Liverpool, Manchester City, and Arsenal. And you would imagine, you know, we've had the supercomputer making its predictions. It thinks Arsenal are going to come third. It thinks Liverpool will win the title, and I think it thinks Man City will come second. I think that's wrong.
Wow.
Yep, me too.
I think Man City will win the title. Liverpool will come second, and Arsenal will come third. But it's, you know, it's an interesting race. At least it's not a one-horse race. It's it's a big it's a big end to the season, and that's what you want. It's more exciting than what's happening at the bottom. The bottom looks as if it's all but done and dusted. I think probably third bottom is still open. It's still open for anybody who wants to take it. A lot of that could, of course, revolve around what happens with Everton. If Everton and Forest end up with more points deductions, we may well see a last minute nailing someone's coffin at the end of the season. But the title race is exciting. Paul Merson, I've worked with Paul in the past. He's probably as controversial in real life as he is when he's on TV. That's his job though. His job is to get people talking. His job is to get people, talking about controversial issues. So it is exciting. Taking away Paul Merson's opinion from it, I'm not a Paul Merson fan per se. I just think that it's the most exciting Premier League race we've had for a long time, and I think me and Daz and you were agreed. Man City and De Bruyne and Haaland will see Man City over the line.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think Man City, it's theirs to lose, especially with the form they're hitting at the moment, Dazzy boy.
Yeah, I mean, another win last night against Copenhagen. 6-2 on aggregate. I think they've hit a point now where who's going to beat them? Who's going to stop them? I can't see anyone at the moment. And even the game at the weekend with Haaland's glaring miss, he's still allowed to miss those and then still come up and score. Yeah, I mean, I saw a fact the other day that was it him? The most misses. That's it. The most misses are in the Premier League this season are the ones who have also scored the most goals. And it's not a surprise, though, is it? They're creating these chances and they're getting in the positions all the time. That's my question now. Who's going to stop Man City? And I don't think Liverpool are going to do it. I don't think Arsenal are going to do it. Arsenal are on good form. Obviously they've smashed. They're just smashing goals in for fun here. But I just can't see it. I think it will be City, Liverpool, Arsenal.
Does Salah do anything for you lads? Does Salah change your mind according to Paul Merson? Because Salah is according to Paul, just quickly changes his mind that Liverpool will win it because of him.
He's a big player. Yeah. He's a big player. But I mean, it's a Salah versus Haaland kind of knockout, isn't it? But he does add a little bit to it. Who gets the luck as well? I mean, Liverpool have managed to scrape a few wins against some pretty low level opposition. I mean, Notts Forest, controversial win there. Some people might say, well, that's what Man United did the season that they beat Newcastle to the league when Newcastle had a 13-point league at one stage. But I think quality always tells, and it's Man City and Liverpool have both won the league in recent years, but I don't go in for all this sentimental Klopp's last season rubbish, and I think Man City are they are the team to do it,
Yep, I completely agree, and I think it is going to be an interesting title race. Well, it's time for your morning news headlines here on the Thursday, 7th of March. We'll be right back with more North East Footy Brekky Show right after this and a little song.
From Yarm to Yibby, Harrington to Horsley Hill, Swarwell to Silverlink, the North East Footy Breakfast with Roy, Steve and Ted.
Right across the North East, the Red, the Toon and the Cat.
It is the North East Footy Breakfast. You can have your say on anything North East football. 0330 043 2002. That's our WhatsApp. We'd love to hear from you this morning. We'll be back with Rye and Steve and me with more North East Footy chat after this from Huey Lewis.
Bad girl's dream, make a bad one.
morning, everybody. Happy Thursday, the 7th of March, and welcome back to the North East Footy Brekky Show. You're joined by Rye down in Australia, who is as happy as ever. You got Steve Wraithy boys. Morning, Steve.
Good morning.
Daz on the buttons, you big gentleman, you.
Good morning. How we doing?
We're doing fantastic, and unfortunately, lads, or is it fortunately, we're not joined by our resident Mackham. Ted isn't here. He doesn't work Thursdays anymore. He needs 4 days a week to be able to keep up with all his What the Fact efforts. But we have heard from one of his close friends, we believe, Daz.
Yeah, well, we've had a message on the WhatsApp. You can get in touch anytime on the WhatsApp on 0330 or 43 2002. We've had a message from a Ned from Cyprus.
Ned?
Yeah,
Okay.
Ned. He said, I can't believe Borough have had 6 points out of questionable sendings off. Then they celebrate like they've won a big trophy. It's small club mentality. He also says he misses Ted today. He is the best. So clearly okay. this person is a little bit unstable.
Yeah, well, thanks for getting in touch. Yeah, thanks for getting in touch, Ned. If you got time to message in, you got time to be on the show. I mean, if you were wanting to be on the show, I believe that was something that was said before. So,
what are you actually doing? What are you doing? He makes out that he's got this other job, doesn't he? And
I know.
We don't know. We've had no evidence of it.
Sending me memes.
Yeah, we've had no evidence of that, have we?
No, and he says he works all these hours and gets paid all this money, but we haven't seen any of it. He hasn't bought us any gifts or anything. You know what I mean? Like, what's he working towards? What, he's supporting his family. What about us?
Yeah.
Hey, come on. Anyway, enough about Ted, lads. We are back for the next hour of the North East Footy Breakfast Show. We've got a lot more to get through, including Ted's What the Fact. We've already had the first clue. We'll have 3 more clues to see if Steve and I can get anywhere closer. Hot tip, we won't. But we will try our best. But as always, we start off after the news headlines with the club headlines, and we go around the 3 teams in the Northeast and see what's making news for your club this Thursday morning, the 7th of March.
Smoggies and Proud. Borough News.
Good, beautiful morning, you beautiful Borough fans. We won a game. Yes, lads. Michael Carrick was delighted to welcome back Johnny Howson to a Middlesbrough team on Wednesday evening, with the skipper putting on the captain's display to help record a massive, massive victory. Easing fears of being dragged into a relegation battle, Howson returned with a man-of-the-match display against his former side in Norwich City. Helped by the red card to Borja Steins for a lash-out on Howson, Borough ran out 3-1 victors at the Riverside. Howson was ahead of schedule in making his return to the Borough starting lineup for the game, having missed 3 games in the end with a knee injury he suffered in late last month's game against Preston North End. It was initially feared to be far worse. Carrick was delighted to have the 35-year-old back, saying we weren't expecting him until after the international break. Carrick said he hasn't trained much, Johnny. He only got a couple of days in, but it was so good to have him back, and obviously gives us different options along with Lewis and Dan in that midfield. And if Howson was the man of the match in that victory over Norwich, he must have been closely followed by left-sided wing-back Lucas Angel. What a fantastic effort he had. Though he started the game quite poorly, in truth, the Dane recovered well and made the most of the extra space that presented itself after Steins' dismissal. He played a crucial role in Borough's equaliser and then scored the third to give us breathing space. Johnny Howson said after the game, in regards to that red card that is quite controversial, he said he obviously kicked out, and you cannot do that in today's game. It's a red card. I've gone in for the 50-50. I possibly might have caught him, but there was nothing in it. I got the ball, and there was a leg there that kicks out at me. You cannot do that because you can barely touch anyone in today's game. I don't make the rules. You just have to play the game as well. David Wagner has confirmed after the game that Norwich would appeal the incident, and saying there was a fair amount of injustice felt by those of a yellow and green persuasion post-match. Well, Borough back to winning ways. That's your morning headlines. Up the Borough. We're back, baby.
Magpies and Proud. Mags News.
Good morning, Newcastle fans. Newcastle United's Steve Nixon has the necessary paperwork to take the role as sporting director at St James's Park if the Magpies decide to promote the long-serving talent spotter. Nixon is deemed a candidate to replace Dan Ashworth, who will be leaving the club for Manchester United once he's completed a stint of gardening leave. Nixon has studied for an MSc Sports Directorship to make him eligible for the position, and will hope he is in the box seat for the top job on Tyneside. The Premier League's Richard Masters was among those watching on as Newcastle defeated Wolves 3-0 at St James's Park at the weekend. He was in attendance as part of the Premier League Chief Executive's regular visits to top-flight clubs across the country. Masters usually goes along to a Premier League fixture most match rounds and was previously photographed on one such occasion sitting alongside part owners Amanda Staveley and Mirdad Gadusi at St James's Park last season. Former Newcastle fullback DeAndre Yodlin has made a switch from Inter Miami to fellow MLS outfit Cincinnati, 2 years into a 4-year deal he signed in 2022. Now 30 years of age, Yodlin becomes the second ex-Magpie to be transferred to MLS club in recent days after Matty Longstaff joined Toronto. That's your Newcastle headlines on Thursday the 7th of March.
Mackems and Proud. Black Cats News.
Good morning, Sunderland fans. These are your Thursday headlines. Will Still has once again spoken on the record regarding interested clubs amid reports Sunderland are keen on the head coach. I told the directors here, yeah, there are clubs that call me, there are clubs that are interested in what I do because I'm never by myself. I find that flattering. I would think it would be stupid not to find that flattering. If people ask me, I'm not going to start lying to make the outside world feel that I'm stressed when I'm not. That's why I said it, especially with that humorous tone. More to come on that one. Elsewhere, Roy Keane has been tipped for a Sunderland return as odds have been slashed on a shock return to management to replace Michael Beale. Keane, who hasn't managed a team since 2011, is now listed at 2-1 to return as Sunderland boss, says the Manchester Evening News. As a former Sunderland manager, the Republic Island and Manchester United legend often comes up when there's talk of a managerial vacancy at the Stadium of Light. However, he remains a favourite among the fans, and of course the appointment would give the fan base a much needed boost. And finally, a dream come true is how Chris Rigg described breaking into the Sunderland starting 11 for the first time. It was back in January 2023 the 16-year-old became Sunderland AFC's youngest ever outfield player at 15 years and 203 days. Fast forward 424 days, and now the teenager's made his first League Cup start, his first Championship start, and grabbed his first competitive goal. This has been a dream come true for me. To see my name in the starting 11 was a surreal moment, Rigg told the club website. I don't tend to think about who I'm playing against too much because I aim to go out there and compete at the highest level and give everything for Sunderland, but it was a bit surreal. We're disappointed with the defeat and I believe we deserved a lot more from the game, but I really enjoyed playing at the Stadium of Light and, of course, in front of our supporters. There are your Sunderland headlines. It was East versus West to determine who's the best, but they had to give it a rest because the man was a pest.
The North East Footy Breakfast with Roy, Steve and Ted.
Right across the North East, the Red, the Toon and the Cat.
And we are back.
Welcome. What was
I don't know. I do know. I do know exactly what has happened there. And many apologies.
I thought it was a new jingle.
So did I. And I'm looking around thinking, what on earth is happening here? Oh, do you know? Yeah. I do apologise, but you will find out what that was very, very soon as we play.
What was that?
Well, I'll tell you what. We'll play the next round of What the Facts.
I'm back up corner. What the fact? I'm getting it now.
We've had our first clue. Make your mind up, lad. All right, that's your first clue.
Yes.
And the second clue, as we've just alluded to, is a audio clue.
Right. Okay.
So you had a little bit of a snippet of it there. Here it is. Here we go.
It was East versus West to determine who's the best, but they had to give it a rest because the man was a pest. East side, West side, peace.
So there you go. That's clue number 2. Clue number 1 was make your mind up, lad.
God.
This is what the fact. Clue number 1 was make your mind up. Clue number 2. I'm going to have to play it one more time for you. Here we go.
It was East versus West to determine who's the best, but they had to give it a rest because the man was a pest. East side, West side. Peace.
So there you go.
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, exactly. So, clue number one.
Steve, any thoughts?
Was make your mind up.
Right, yeah. This is just like some kind of absolute. Well, I won't even say this.
Some sort of absolute fill your own word in there, listeners.
Yeah, it definitely is. Yeah, I mean, it involves a bong and a pipe, and that's what I feel like.
East versus West. The only thing I can think of in football relation is there used to be East Germany and West Germany, correct? Back in the day. I mean, that's the thing that I mean. And then when he says the man was the pest. You know what I mean? And then he ends it with peace. I don't know if that's got anything to do with obviously the war and East versus West Germany. But I mean, what else is there? Is there? I mean, in terms of Sheffield Wednesday, Sheffield United, is that an East versus West? Is that the East and West of Sheffield there? I don't know. And what's the first clue again, Daz?
Make your mind up, lad. Make your mind up, lad.
Up there. Make your mind up,
lad. No, I can't do the accents.
Is that a clue?
It was sort of was.
So he's Welsh.
Indian. He's Indian.
Oh, he's Indian.
No.
Oh my God.
No. That's a joke. No.
Okay. Oh, okay.
You're closer,
in that accent.
You're closer to home than Germany was. Let's put it that way.
What on earth? I mean, this is just a way of giving Ted like an advantage now. He's like 5 4 up because this is just ridiculous.
Well, okay.
He's not here, so it's not the same. The clues are ridiculous. He's now putting music in, so the whole thing is pointless. It's absolutely pointless.
We have had.
What we'll do is we'll call this a friendly. This is a friendly. So basically, friendlies don't count. So we'll go along with it. I'm happy to go along with it, but it's actually a friendly because he's not here. Okay, that's I feel better now.
All right. So first clue, make your mind up, lad. Second clue was that audio clue there with whatever was in that audio clue.
Well, it was audio. It wasn't a clue.
I love that he's annoyed Steve and he's not even here.
Do you know?
Let's just play this for the next 45 minutes.
It was East versus West to determine who's the best, but they had to give it a rest because the man was a pest. East side.
Do you know what though?
West side.
What I'm thinking about is that
peace. That's like the audio version of blackface. Oh. It's wrong. It's wrong. It's all kinds of wrong. Ban it.
The thing is, though, we're all listening to that now, and we all know just how proud Ted is of that little clip. He will have worked for ages on that. He'll be sat there going, "Oh yeah, you can see his face now, can't you?"
You can. I've been laughing at that one.
So that's clue number 2.
He's actually in bed and not at work.
Yeah.
We have had a WhatsApp about it. Daniil has been in touch.
Okay.
Great show, gents.
Morning, Daniil.
A guess at what the fact. Brian Clough.
Daniil, please.
Brian Clough trying to sign Dean Saunders.
Ooh.
How did he get that? See, he's so clever. Is that Daz?
That's not it. No, that's not the. But what I would say is, it's very close to that area. That's all. He won't like me for giving.
What did he say again
clue.
then?
A guess at what the facts. Brian Clough's trying to sign Dean Saunders.
Brian Clough. Okay. Which is Brian Clough. So Nottingham? Yeah.
So we've got an East versus West. We've got a make your mind up, lad. So no, Daniil, thank you for that. That wasn't true. But he's also said a film that the studio in Sunderland could make, Invictus.
Yep.
Might have legal issues with Hollywood, though.
Yes.
Yeah, I can see that. Invictus, a new hero.
Yeah. Well, the only person I'm going to choose to play me ever would be Steve Wraith. I think he'd just nail the role.
Nail it. Absolutely nail it.
Yeah. Now, Steve Wraith could play me 100% any day of the week. Well, it's time for a short break here on the North East Footy Breakfast Show. We'll come back with hopefully more clues that aren't of the rap style in What the Fact, and a lot more football discussion right after this short break.
The North East Footy Breakfast.
It's Ted's What the Fact. What the Fact. What the Fact. What the Fact.
You're going away and you're staying in a hospital, and then the next thing you know, you're on an operating table having your bits taken out of you.
I can't. Sports headlines or something, please. Oh, I'm getting memories. How did I even... Oh, no.
Start your day with the North East Footy Breakfast, Monday to Friday, 7 till 9, right here.
From Wickham to Whitley Bay, Stonygate to Shields, Doggy to Darlow Backlane, Steve, Ted and Rye. The North East Footy Breakfast.
Right across the North East, the Red, the Toon and the Cat.
Welcome back to the North East Footy Brekky Show, joined by Rye, Steve and Daz in the studio this morning. We are talking all things football and doing What the Fact with Ted, even though it is a quarter friendly, according to Steve. He's deemed it a friendly, so the points won't count. It's a tough one.
Fantastic.
It's a tough one. We're going to talk about the next topic, obviously, which is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, who's come back out. He's actually come back out in a big way. Maybe he's trying to look for some new work or something like that,
thoughts,
Steve. I'm not too sure. Yeah, but he's sort of doing the Steve Bruce now. He's sort of popping up on every podcast and doing every media interview. And he was a bit quiet there, I thought Ole was, and now he's back in the forefront. And he's come out on the podcast, The Overlap. Obviously, Gary Neville's podcast with Jamie Carragher. Roy Keane, and he had to say that there's no magic wand to fix Man United. And then in the process of defending Ten Hag, who Gary Neville was talking about, he said, he speaks well, and he's managed United from 2018 to 2021. Obviously is respected, and he's also linked with the Sunderland job now. So this is obviously about Ole Gunnar being well respected. I apologise, how he managed United. And is now linked to the Sunderland job. Steve, could Ole Gunnar Solskjaer be the man for Sunderland, providing they change the current failing model? I.e., he's saying that if Speakman and that goes, could they see the likes of an Ole Gunnar Solskjaer down at Sunderland?
I don't know, mate. I really don't. I mean, the problem that you've got with Sunderland is, A, the former owners are still owed cash, I believe, by the current owners. It's such a complex web, isn't it, of what's going on at Sunderland. That's got to be a major issue. There is some financial connection between the previous owners and the current owners still to this day. So that is a huge millstone around anybody's neck. So that first and foremost. Secondly, they're still recovering from COVID, like lots of other Championship and League One and League Two teams are. Some of these teams nearly went out of business because you couldn't have fans in the ground. The money that you get, at the lower level isn't the same as you get in the Premier League for TV, etc. Sunderland's got a huge ground. They don't fill it, and that's got to be an issue. So finance is what I'm pointing at here. And people might say, well, they do fill it. They don't. Like, you even see Jimmy Coppers and people every week on social media going, well, I don't know where they've got the 44,000 attendance from, because it looks like there's only 25,000 here. You see it. Sunderland journalists actually saying there is not that amount of people in the ground. So they're losing money on a match day from not having people filling the ground. So how on earth can Sunderland, in a season where they've already got rid of Tony Mowbray and Beale, how can they be looking at bringing in a manager who's managed at a slightly, at other clubs where he will have been on a decent pay packet, suddenly start saying we want X, Y and Z? It's not going to happen. And do I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer can come in and cope with a big club like Sunderland and the pressures that a big club like Sunderland underperforming brings? Not in a million years. The club needs somebody like Sam Allardyce, who Sunderland have had before. They've attracted him before. They would need to convince them that there will be a financial pot of gold at the end of the rainbow if we could get them back in the Premier League. But they need somebody that's, who works in that environment, or who could work in that environment. Maybe Sam Allardyce is too old now. Maybe he's not going to be able to do that kind of that job again. But it's not a job for somebody like Solskjaer. He would cave in. He would cave in under the pressure that being Sunderland manager brings. And being Sunderland manager is exactly the same as being Newcastle manager or Middlesbrough manager. The expectation is huge. And, you know, it doesn't take much. Just look at last night's win, lad, to get you back on the, you know, we're going to win the league and we're going to do this and we're going to do that. You know, football fans are very fickle, but, you know, a win changes everything. And, you know, I think Sunderland need to look a bit closer. They need like a Sam Allardyce. If Kevin Ball had been given a chance years ago, I always felt Kevin Ball could have done something. Kevin was such a good coach, such a good lad, very good at man management, a Sunderland legend. I always felt Kevin Ball would have been the right fit for Sunderland. Was never given the opportunity. I'm not sure what he does these days, but you know, you need somebody like that. Somebody who can go in and grasp the club, you know, by the horns and pull it out of the mess it's in. But yeah, it's a mess at the moment at Sunderland, and I just don't think Solskjaer's the answer, mate. Is the long-winded way of answering that question.
No, it's a good answer, and I think I'm actually on par with you there as well. I think Ollie needs a big club. I think going from Man United, you want to obviously fall on your feet. He's obviously chosen to take a bit of a break. He's waiting for that right opportunity. Is Sunderland that right opportunity? I don't think so. I think Sunderland need to, exactly like what you said, get an older head in there that can maybe pull in the line, not only the players but also what's happening off the pitch, and has got the experience like a Big Sam or something like that, even a Warnock or something like that can wear the hurt of the outside noise as well as what's happening on the pitch. So, and you need a big man that's just been around for so long that can handle that and has been in there and done it before. So I completely agree with you. I don't think Ollie's the answer. What about you, Daz? Do you think Ollie Gunnar could go down to Sunderland?
No. I mean, I'm with Steve on this one. He is clearly putting himself in the shop window this week, I think, with the media work that he's doing. Because I've seen him on a couple of media outlets now, having his and you know what he's looking for. He's looking for column inches. So he's talking about. You know, I heard yesterday him talking about we shouldn't have signed Ronaldo. You know, that was the other headline. You know, that and other players that he thought shouldn't have been bought at Man United while he was there. So this is a PR machine working here, and I like the guy. Man United hero. You know, would forget that night where he won the Champions League, brilliant coming on off the bench. But, is he the man to take Sunderland on? No, absolutely not. Sunderland need right now some stability. They need some leadership. They need somebody who's got experience of digging a team out, of working with young talented players and bringing them on, but also someone, and Steve alluded to this as well, who can put up with what's going on behind the scenes as well, because the place seems in a bit of a mess, and I think if Ted was here, he would wholeheartedly agree with that. So it needs someone with a bit more experience, I think, to do that. And I'm sorry, Ollie, it's not you.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. You need someone that can wear the hurt at the moment, because that's what Sunderland are in. Actually, off-field stuff.
Actually, no, I'm changing my mind. Bring him in. Oh. Get him in.
Oh.
He's got no experience with working with a team like that. Doomed to fail. Yeah, bring him in. Get him in. Get him in.
There you go. Sunderland fans, if you have any thoughts on that, you can always get in touch on the WhatsApp. Let us know if you would like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer or a Big Sam or something that Steve and I seem to think would be better for your club. Who's best suited at the moment? It does seem like Dodsey will be given to the end of the season, but I tell you what, if they keep going down this losing path, I dare say Dodsey will not be sticking around too much longer. Lads, we've got to talk about another manager as well, in Brighton manager Roberto Di Zerbi. But I think before we do that, I think it's time. We need to get another clue. It's too hard, It's too hard. I'm racking my brain while I'm trying to get through headlines. I need another clue. Give me my third clue for what the fact, please. Too hard!
All right, it is. I'm very honoured this morning to be doing Ted's What the Fact and taking the abuse for it. So, clue number 1 was make your mind up, lad. All right, that was clue number 1. Make your mind up, lad. All right, this is clue number 2.
It was East versus West to determine who's the best, but they had to give it a rest because the man was a pest. East side, West side.
Okay, I think that's helped everybody this morning on that one. So that was clue number 2. Clue number 3.
Yeah.
This Northern Iron International made it honours even. This Northern Iron International made it honours even.
What? So Northern Ireland, but he's not allowed to say Northern Ireland.
He's saying Northern Iron International made it honours even.
Irons? West Ham? East versus West?
Still not helped that, like.
No.
I mean, normally I'd be frustrated at this point if it was for a point. But, I mean,
now you know it's a friendly. You're doing all right.
It's a friendly. I'm not really that bothered.
Nah, we're not getting out of third gear for this one. No.
Yeah.
We've had a WhatsApp. You can WhatsApp the show 0330 443 2002 if you've got any ideas. Particularly for what the facts. Our friend Jack has been in touch this morning. Morning, Jack. Loving the show as always. I hope you're all doing well and not missing Ted too much. No.
Nah, we're all right.
Maybe a little. I mean, we had him in the headlines. I think that's probably enough. Right, he's saying, what the fact? November 22nd, 1963 in Leipzig, East Germany. It was a European Championship qualifier between East and West Germany, called off after 7 minutes due to mice invading the pitch. And it never got replayed.
Oh my goodness, what a fact.
I mean, Ted should be listening in on that one and having that one at another point. So, November 22nd, 1963, Leipzig, East Germany. It was a European Championship qualifier, East and West Germany, but it was called off after 7 minutes due to mice invading the pitch, and it never got replayed. Jack, do you know what? You are miles away, but that's a really, really good fact. Well done, though. And he's right. He's just come back and said, yeah, the third clue didn't fit. No, it didn't.
No.
So there we go. I mean, any ideas, gents?
No, was I close? Was I closer with West Ham? Was I close with West Ham? Obviously, Northern Ireland there as well, but the Irons and all that sort of stuff.
No.
Okay.
Sorry. No.
Wow. This is a toughie.
I know.
Righto. Well, if you got any help, please get in touch. And if that's that, Ned's sitting in Cyprus as well. Maybe he can text in and give a little bit of help as well.
We've been asking. You were asking for the ideas for Sunderland managers. Well, Steve's been in touch. He said, "Morning, guys."
Steve.
Morning, Steve.
Alternatively, to what you guys suggest, a good shout for Sunderland would be Jesse March. Full of self-confidence, used to the structure of developing and moving players on from his time at the Red Bull camp. New York, Leipzig, Switzerland, everybody talk about pop music. No, as well as working with young players. Textbooks. He's a textbook stats-based coach. Might just fit KLD's model. I mean, Jesse March. I think I might guess Ted's response to Jesse March because I think he mentioned him the other day. But what do you guys think? Jesse March, is that an option?
What do you reckon, Steve?
Jesse March for me is, to be honest, it's somebody that Steve Hasty on NUFC Matters has mentioned a couple of times.
Well, I think that might be the same Steve.
He was on Sky's coverage of a game. It wasn't the Sunderland Middlesbrough game. It was a couple of games after that. But he he just reappeared. And it's that going on that media circle, lads. You know what I mean? When you go on that media circle and you suddenly, a bit like you're talking about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer before.
Yeah, exactly.
He's putting himself in the public eye, putting himself in the profile. So I don't think that's a bad. I don't think it's a bad shout. I don't think he would come with a high wage demand either. I mean, some managers like Steve Bruce, for instance, go in on a lower wage, but with a high severance pay. He's done that quite a few times. But yeah, I mean, it's one of those situations you look at and think, well, maybe Jesse Marsch would be the right person. I mean, certainly could attract a different type of player as well, and bring in players which Sunderland aren't going to be shopping, in Harrods, are they? They're going to be shopping lower down the chain on the football ladder, and Marsch might have the right contacts, but maybe it's just what it needs. Somebody who hasn't got that a huge name in the British game who could come in and grab the club by the scruff of the neck. It won't take a great deal. With Middlesbrough or Sunderland. Middlesbrough, I think they've got the right manager. They just need a bit of luck with injuries and need to keep a hold of star players when they come through. But Sunderland just, Sunderland probably the biggest thing with them is A, getting the right manager in, and B, trying to convince Jack Clarke to stay for another season.
Yep. No, I completely agree. I don't know if Jesse Marsch would be able to do that. I think Jack Clarke's minds are probably already set up. Especially with the agent that he's got as well. I think Jack Clarke's been chipped around for the highest offer, and I honestly think Sunderland are looking to bank in on him as well. And I think their transfer window is hinging on the amount they get for Jack Clarke and who they can bring in from that as well. So, yeah, it'll be interesting. But no, if you're asking is Jesse the man for Sunderland, in my opinion, no. I still want to stick to what Steve and I were saying. It needs an older head at the moment. They need a Warnock, a Big Sam, someone that's got the experience of dealing. They need, you know what they need? They need Mogger. They need Tony Mowbray. They should have, they need Mogger.
Oh, the irony.
It's crazy. You know what I mean? So it's crazy. What Mogger's gone and done at Birmingham is what they need now. So yeah, it's interesting. Anyway, it's time for a short break. We'll come back. We'll get the last clue for what the fact, and we'll bring it all home here on the North East Footy Brekky Show.
Together across the North East.
The Toon, Black Cat and the Red.
The important thing to remember about accidents at work is that these days the law imposes such a strong duty of care upon the employer, they're basically obliged to ensure that accidents don't happen. So if an accident does happen, it's likely, in some sense, to be their fault, even if you feel partly to blame. So if you've had an accident at work, just give us a call.
Choose the one you know at the Renko.
This is Elton John. Hello, I'm Phil Collins.
Hi, this is Lionel Richie.
This is not just any old 80s show. Join me for 80s Mint. 2 hours of the best 80s music and memories. Right here, every Saturday night from 9
and Sundays from noon.
From Yarm to Yibby, Harrington to Horsley Hill, Swarwell to Silverlink, the North East Footy Breakfast with Roy, Steve and Ted.
Right across the North East, the Red, the Toon and the Cat.
And we are back.
Welcome on back to the...
Yeah, welcome back.
Sorry, Daz.
No, that's all right. That's okay. I
was coughing. I had a coughing fit.
Sorry.
It's because you're eating.
We are back and on the North East Footy Brekky this morning, right across the North East on the Cat, the Toon and the Red. Thank you for all your WhatsApps that have come through. Mike Bassett is out of work, or Ronald McDonald. These two will fit right in at Sunderland. Thank you very much for that one. Steve is also in touch. Yesterday we were talking about you were talking about this, Steve, ways that footballers had got injured, and Steve sent us a few more of these. So there was a guy, Rami Kaib. He broke the internet and his jaw after eating a carrot that ruled him out for 5 weeks. Yes, exactly. I'd not heard this one. Queen of the South goalkeeper Sam Henderson was struck. It's not funny. Was struck by a runaway cow while visiting his dad's farm in 2018.
That was the one I mentioned yesterday.
I
mentioned that one yesterday. Yeah. That's a brilliant one.
That is superb.
Oh, no.
And there's loads of these. Dave Besant drops a salad jar.
What?
I know, that was great. Darren Barnard slipped over on some puppy wee.
Oh my goodness.
Put him out. Marco Asensio, he missed the opening match of Real Madrid's UEFA Champions League campaign in 2017 due to an infected pimple which emerged after he'd shaved his legs.
Oh, Jesus. That is not a... Wow.
And Michael Stensgaard dislocated his shoulder after moving an ironing board. So thank you to those, Steve, for bringing those in.
Brilliant, Steve. Thanks, mate.
Do we need? Yeah, we do. We have to do another What the Fact clue, don't we, to see if we can get this.
We do. Bring us on home.
Yeah, I'll bring you home with this.
It's only friendly. The points don't matter today. It's too hard.
All right.
East versus West.
Yeah, East versus West. So your first clue was make your mind up, lad.
Yep.
Make your mind up, lad. Clue 2 was the audio clue, which do we need to? Was the rapping?
Yeah, go on. Go on. You know how proud he is of that, right?
He is so proud. He is super, super proud of this. Right, okay. This is for Ted. Here we go. This is clue 2.
East versus West to determine who's the best, but they had to give it a rest because the man was a pest. East side, West side. Peace.
Do you know what? I wish we had video for that.
When he was recording that, you know, he would have been. Yeah, he would have been so proud of that.
I bet he looks like he's trying to get like a grape seed out of his tooth and singing.
Right, so that was clue number 2. Clue number 3. This Northern Iron International made it honours even. This Northern Iron International made it honours even. And clue number 4. I can't believe it. He's done a Desmond. I can't believe it. He's done a Desmond. That's clue number 4. You can get in touch.
That's triggered something, Steve.
You can get in touch with the show on 0330 043 2002 if you can work out what that fact is. Make your mind up, lad. The East versus West rap. This Northern Iron International made it honours even. And I can't believe it. He's done a Desmond. 0330 043 2002 if you've got any ideas on that one. Please remember, it's only a friendly.
Yeah, exactly. It's only a friendly. Just please remember that. And it's now been mentioned numerous times on here, so that now stands legally.
Yes, legally. Yes. It is legal.
Does that ring any bells for anyone? Desmond or... I mean... I don't know. Was there a Desmond Northern Ireland footballer of some regard? Oh, these get me every day, I swear. Ted, we're never doing this ever again.
Steve, any ideas?
I've got no idea, mate. But the pressure's off.
I suppose so, yeah. Pressure's off. One last time. Make your mind up, lad. Make your mind up, lad. That's supposed to be like sort of a West Midlands accent. That
yeah,
one,
okay.
Suppose, yeah.
Okay.
That makes it... now I know who it is.
The second clue was the audio clue, the East versus West rap. Third clue, this Northern Iron International made it honours even. And finally, number 4, I can't believe it, he's done a Desmond. Jack has said, so it's a 2-2 draw.
Okay.
He is very, very warm there.
Oh. What was the clue then? What did he say, sorry?
He said, so it's a 2-2 draw.
Draw. Oh, okay. Okay.
What? You know what it is?
No, I got no idea. I'm just trying to sound smart. Got nothing. Absolutely nothing. I'm way off. All right, well, let's kick on. We got one last topic, and it directs it to you, Steve. If you do know what the fact, we'll get the answer in a short 5 minutes just before we hand over to Daz. But we've got one last topic to discuss, and it does involve Newcastle United, Stevie boy. The news is that Brighton manager Roberto Di Zerbi this summer has got a $12 million buyout clause. Given what he has achieved and the players they've sold, is it money well spent? Ted has asked, and obviously we're asking everybody here on This Morning, the North East Footy Breakfast show, is he a potential name for Newcastle United if the trigger was ever pulled on Eddie Howe? How much of an impression do you think he's made since coming to the Premier League? So, Stevie boy, is Roberto Di Zerbi someone you would like in the reins if the inevitable was to happen on Eddie Howe?
No, definitely not, because he's not experienced enough. It's like what I was saying with the Sunderland job. You need a big character for the job, somebody who's capable of doing it. His management level is exactly where he's at. It's Brighton. I couldn't imagine Newcastle United fans throwing a street party if he was announced as manager. There'd be people very annoyed and very upset, I think. He's a smaller club manager, and that's no good for Newcastle. For Newcastle to progress after Eddie Howe, they need to be looking at the top table of managers, and top table managers will look at Newcastle as a challenge. Big club, 52,000 capacity stadium, potentially going to be bigger in the course of the next 2 to 3 years. PIF with money, to burn behind them, and Newcastle tackling the FFP restrictions in a sensible way, so no threat of points deduction, and potentially more investment over the course of the next 2 to 3 years. The next manager will get a big checkbook to have a go at things with. So you're not going to give that to him. It's going to be a big name. It could be a Jose Mourinho. It could be a Tuchel. It could be a Klopp. It could be a Guardiola. It could be anybody in that kind of remit. It could be Antonio, De Conte. It could be anybody. There are plenty big names who would, at the drop of a hat, I think, come and buy into the Saudi Newcastle United project, and that isn't going to be a Brighton manager, not at all.
Okay. And on last week, we were talking to you, obviously, before that Wolves win, where you were saying that, there's something not right going on at Newcastle. There was that meeting over in Saudi. You were worried, obviously, for the future of Eddie Howe. Has that win lightened those fears at all? Has it done anything for Eddie Howe's future, or do you still think the writing's on the wall?
Nothing changes with one result, apart from how everyone feels. And, I still think that big meeting at Alnwick was a pointer to what's going to happen in the summer. There are certainly going to be changes. I used my headlines today to tell you that Steve Nixon could potentially be the new director of football. He's got the qualifications. Are Newcastle looking at somebody bigger? Did Newcastle think it would be better to promote from within and maybe keep it in-house on that score? But overall, I still think that meeting was very, very important. And look, Eddie Howe's just got to concentrate on getting the team into Europe and potentially getting them through past Man City and into the FA Cup final. Getting into the Cup final isn't the be all and end all this season. It'll be disappointing that Newcastle haven't managed to get to a cup final this year after last year, but Newcastle, it's imperative that they get into Europe for Eddie Howe's job. I think I would be surprised if Eddie Howe was still in position if Newcastle don't qualify for Europe this year. And I know that everyone knew that it was going to be a tough season this season with European football. We don't know these owners. We'll learn a lot more about these owners in the summer. If they decide that Eddie Howe's got enough credit in the bank after this season has finished and Newcastle maybe don't qualify for Europe and don't win anything, then that's credit to the Saudis. But if they decide, actually, there's somebody out there who could do the job better, we're ready to take it to the next level now. Eddie's been our Mark Hughes, as he was with Man City.
Yeah,
he's laid the concrete. Now it's somebody else's turn to come in and build the foundations. I wouldn't be surprised. But listen, that's based on my feelings, not on anything that I've heard. It's simply based on my feelings, lads.
And
what do you reckon?
I'd be really disappointed if that happened. Yeah, I think he should be given more time. But I listen to Steve. I listen to what he's saying about the fans and their feeling towards him. But I as an outsider, I think that'll be disappointing if that happens.
It would be very interesting, wouldn't it? It does. I think we've been saying it all along, right from the start of the North East Footy Breakfast show, that this sort of summer for Newcastle is going to be a massive one. I think it's going to be a massive turnover. We saw the likes of it. Saw the rumours starting to fly around in January with Kieran Trippier and the like, and we've now got Lascelles and stuff like that potentially signing on. So it's sorry, Joe Linton, not Lascelles. It's just. I think it's going to be a massive summer for Newcastle, and I don't think that's going to be just limited to the players on the pitch. I think it's also going to be the staff as well. So it will be a big summer, but that will be one that we have to wait and see. Let's get this out of the way. This what the fact. This friendly does help us out, mate.
Well, I'd like to thank Ted for leaving me with this one. I was very honoured, and I'm happy to take the abuse for it, if let's be fair. So, your first clue was make your mind up, lad. Then we had the audio clue of East versus West. The Iron International made it honours even, and I can't believe it. He's done a Desmond. Jack was sort of right. It was a 2-2 draw. It was a Desmond 2-2. As in Desmond Tutu, you get it? But it was recently deceased Chris Nicol. He scored all 4 goals in a 2-2 draw back in March 1976. Nicol somehow managed this in a 2-2 draw against Aston Villa and Leicester City. He twice gave Leicester the lead by scoring an own goal before he then equalised on both occasions. So there's your East versus West, your Villa, Leicester. So there you go. It was Chris Nicol who unfortunately passed away recently. But he scored all 4 goals in a 2-2 draw of Aston Villa versus Leicester City back in 1976. So there you go. Thank you, Ted, for that.
No, thank you, Ted. I was getting nowhere near that. So... absolutely nowhere near that. So, but well done. Well done, Jack. He was closest. Steve, you were close to that, I'm guessing. Oh, no. He might be gone. He got booted again, it sounds like. Well, that wraps it up here for the North East Footy Brekky Show. Your Thursday, 7th of March, Thursday morning. What a fantastic show it was. Steve, myself, and Daz on the mic. Daz, we hand over to you, as we always do. What is coming up next?
Yeah, well, Steve is back. Are you back there, Steve?
Yeah, the system booted us twice this morning for some reason. No worries, lads.
Yeah, so sorry. No control over that one, I'm afraid. Listen,
what was the answer of what the fact?
Oh, it was Chris Nicol. He scored 4 goals in a 2-2 draw back in 1976. He scored all 4 of them in a match with Aston Villa versus Leicester. He gave Leicester the lead by scoring an own goal before then equalising on both occasions. Right. So there you go. That's that one.
Good stuff. Good friendly. That enjoyed the banter. Looking forward to the proper game starting again next week.
Have yourselves a wonderful Thursday, chaps.
Thank you so much, Daz. Have a fantastic show.
Yeah, and
we'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah, take it easy. Have a good one.
Look